The Narrow Path, Part 3. The Narrow Path, Part 3. Now, honestly, yeah, man, the narrow path, man, I mean, man, just really, truly getting more in depth about this. I mean, I mean, it's narrow, it's very narrow, and, many people and beings are not on it and just will not be a part of this path, more or less. But, yeah, I mean, the narrow path, humbly speaking, really, it's just like, it's truly, the path to heaven. And it is the path to heaven. And, there's many realms and different parts and sections of heaven for the people who are on the narrow path. And no, you don't have to be perfect or anything, but you do have to be a pure soul. And you have to love God sincerely. You have to love God for God. And, yeah, you just got to be pure. Your intentions got to be pure and all this stuff. And, I mean, the narrow path, it's truly like narrow, it's very narrow. And, few there be that find it on a serious level. And, the people and beings that find it really is just like, not only does God truly have interest in them, but once again, these souls and these beings are just very pure, in the spirit with God, and, yeah, I mean, they just care about God's kingdom, and, overall, like, they're just, destined to go to heaven too. It's that type of thing, because you truly got to be destined to go to heaven, You do. That's the thing about, heaven and, all this stuff, concerning heaven and all these different parts of heaven and the realms of heaven. And yeah, the people and beings who are on the narrow path, everybody will be rewarded differently. For the people who are a part of the narrow path and the beings who are a part of the narrow path, everybody will be rewarded differently for what they did concerning God and for God, and just what they did concerning their deeds, and, the deeds towards people, and just their intentions towards people, so what you got to understand about the narrow path. And overall, I mean, yeah, once again, few there be that find it. And yeah, I mean, people and beings that are on the narrow path, once again, they're just pure souls, They're spiritual too. I'm being very real. These people who are part of the narrow path, they're spiritual. And just overall, like, they are like people and beings you least expect, And it's just like people who, these people are just very much overlooked too, so I'm being led by the Spirit. And, many people just don't understand them. They're misinterpreted on the surface. And yeah, I mean, they're just not of the earth realm, and these people are part of the narrow path, man, I mean, it's just very narrow, because see, these people too, like, once again, they're spiritual. They're not religious or anything, And speaking of that, as I'm getting into this, by the Spirit, I mean, religious people and all these religions and all this stuff, no, they are not a part of the narrow path, and I'm truly being led by the Spirit concerning this stuff, because this stuff is very intense. And yeah, once again, few there be that find it, concerning the narrow path. And yes, God truly has to have interest in you. He has to draw you into his kingdom. He's leading me to say this, yes. And you truly got to be a humble soul and a being, I want to say, to really be a part of the narrow path. And you really have to love God. You have to truly love God sincerely, And once again, this has nothing to do with being perfect, or this has nothing to do with religion either. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with loving God from the soul, and on a very high level too, if I'm being real, because these are the people who are on the narrow path. That's what I'm trying to tell you. These other people who profess God, but they're not honest about who they are, and you know, they're just not into the things of God concerning God's kingdom, and once again, they're not honest, and you're not into the full truth of God and the kingdom of God and heaven and all these other places concerning the spirit realm. And see, that's the thing too, you know, so I'm being led by the spirit too. But these people who are on the narrow path, they are a part of the spirit realm, more or less. And there are some people who are part of the narrow path too, who are, I want to say, who just God truly has interest in, and he's also bringing into the spirit realm. But overall too, like, these people who are on the narrow path, like, they just truly, truly love God from the soul, from the heart. They have a relationship with God, you know, and they have encounters with him, you know, encounters with God, and just overall, you know, the spirit realm and all this stuff. And yeah, overall, like, God just like, God truly has to truly just have interest in you concerning being a part of the narrow path, you know. And yeah, I mean, the narrow path to heaven is very narrow, and few there be that find it, and everybody will be rewarded differently according to who they are in God, and what they've done concerning his kingdom, and also just concerning you know, their deeds, motives towards people, towards individuals, their intentions. Everything is taken into consideration. God looks at this stuff from a deep, deep perspective concerning people and beings and all this stuff. Excuse me. And yeah, anybody outside of this stuff, though, yeah, I mean, no, they're not on the narrow path. It doesn't matter if they have an attraction. It doesn't matter if they have some type of fan base or any type of certain fame, you know, very few who have that fame and all that stuff have, you know, what I'm trying to say is very few who have that fame stuff. They actually have parts in the narrow path, is what I'm trying to say. And everybody else, no, they're not on it, you know. And this stuff is just very deep, because this stuff is spiritual, and God truly has to have interest in you. He has to draw you in concerning the narrow path. And you just have to, like, you really have to truly be, like, pure, you know, as he's leading me to say. You have to be pure in heart, pure in spirit, because even God says, blessed are the pure, for they shall see God, you know, for they shall see him, you know. And he's very intentional about these things, you know. He didn't say perfect. He didn't say, you know, perfection and all this stuff. He didn't say anything in that nature. You know, he said, blessed are the pure, meaning genuine, meaning honest, meaning pure, as in really genuine, you know, authentic. All that stuff is dealing with pure. You know, blessed are the pure, you know, for they shall see him. You know, anybody outside of this, you're not on the narrow path, and you will not be. I'm being real, because this stuff is not a game. And the narrow path is just, it's very narrow, and many people are on the broad path. That's what you gotta understand about this stuff, to hell, you know, and many other dark places with the enemy concerning the spirit world. And but yeah, I mean, the narrow path is narrow, and you know, as I'm getting closer to closing this out, the people who are on the narrow path, yeah, I mean, they're just genuine. They're genuine. They're pure souls. They're honest. They truly love God. they care about God. They have a relationship with God. They care about how God truly feels about, evil, and how God feels about, this earth realm, how God feels about, just once again, evil, and how God feels about everything in a way. Like, these are the people who are on the narrow path. They truly care about God. That's what you got to understand. And I mean, man, it's not a game with the stuff, because the narrow path is narrow, and that's what you got to understand. And, it's not going to be that many people on this narrow path. That's what you got to understand. It's just not, because it is narrow, and few there be that find it. That's what you got to understand. Now there will be like many people in heaven and a part of heaven and all that stuff, but it's not no, it's not like it's not like, what I'm trying to say is, it's not like maximum capacity when it comes to that. No. Like, a lot of people will be a part of heaven, but there are more souls in hell and going to hell and going to be a part of hell, the lake of fire and all that stuff, But there are many people a part of heaven and all this stuff, many souls and pure beings a part of heaven. Yeah, there is a lot, but there is also just a large scale of people who just are not a part of the narrow path once again. And that's why I'm saying this majority of people and beings are just a part of the broad path. That's what you got to understand. And the narrow path to heaven is narrow, and you just got to be really pure in the spirit concerning God and how he sees you. You cannot, you cannot like run game and just scheme, God. That's the thing. You cannot scheme God. And, as I'm getting closer to closing this out, you people who are scheming people truly just have no repentance. And also you people who just are just not genuine and all this stuff. And, you have ill intentions and all this stuff. No, you're not a part of the narrow path, and you will not be, But with all that being said, the narrow path, and everybody who is a part of the narrow path, though, no matter who you are, you will be rewarded according to your deeds, your heart posture, and just everything that God sees behind the scenes concerning you. It doesn't matter who you are hearing this. If you're a part of the narrow path, God's people bear witness with you, and more or less, God's, I want to say, participants of heaven bear witness with you. The angels know you, and you will be encountering many angels, and they will appear to you, at the appointed time, frame, and line concerning you, your soul, and all this stuff. But with all that being said, the narrow path, it's very narrow, and few there be that find it. So that's a real matter, and it's very intense matter too. So many exclamation points concerning this, because you gotta understand that it is narrow, and few there be that find it. So even though there is many souls and people a part of heaven, you gotta realize that there are more souls in hell, and going to hell, and just overall just a part of that broad path. That's what you gotta understand. But with all that being said, I pray for Jesus' chosen people, and who he truly has interest in, that he will heal you of all your wounds, and, may you endure to the end concerning, your journey, and just with God, and just may he give you the spirit of endurance, and the spirit of, like, I want to say, spirit of boldness and just power from heaven to slay these demons and to slay the kingdom of darkness, but you're going to need God overall and the real Jesus, power from heaven and angels as well, holy angels. But with all that being said, yeah, I'm out.